How do we feel about the new stream graphics? Let's be honest. I'm really happy with it. I'm very proud of it. I haven't perfected it yet. There's still a couple of my stream layouts that I think look a little off with the MS Paint theme. For example, this layout, I could maybe change the box around my face cam to black because the orange color just doesn't fit. I mean, I could literally do that right now, actually. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can do that quickly. Pretty sure if I just find the black colored box. Do I have it on hand? Let's see. Can I add a new source? Go through my stream, like, images. I think I have it saved under a folder. Yeah. Oh, God. Christ almighty. And then I would just have to get rid of the old one. Hold up. Old face cam box. Where are you at? There it is. Okay, get rid of that. And then, wait, did this actually work? I thought this was going to take way more time. Okay. I honestly, never have I ever tried to do something on my stream that was like quote unquote tech support, and it did it that quickly. Hey, what's up, Kimberly? Nice to see you. Okay. How does that look? How do we feel? I think that looks nice. That was quick. I'm honestly both shocked and proud of myself. We fixed that so quick. Okay. I'm going to just quickly do a double check. I'm going to look at my stream on here. It looks fine. I'm going to look at my stream on YouTube and Twitch. It looks fine. Yeah, I think we fixed it. Wow. Honestly, I feel like I deserve a round of applause. Usually when something goes wrong on my stream, it either takes me an hour to fix it, or like, we gotta end the stream. We fixed that almost immediately. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us, team. Okay, well, hope you all like the new stream graphics. I'm a big fan of the stream graphics. I love the Windows 95 aesthetic. It kind of fits the Vaporwave theme I've been slowly transitioning my account towards. And yeah, I'm a huge fan. Very, very big fan. So awesome. I'm hyped. And let's get going with the shiny hunt today. We left off yesterday. I'm going to put some music on in the background. Okay. We left off yesterday with 4,500 resets. Today, I don't really have a number in mind where we're going to stop, at what time we'll end, because I think we're actually just going to get the shiny, and then we'll have to end the stream after that because we caught the shiny. Like, we don't need to worry or pay much attention to how many resets we're doing because we're actually going to get the shiny, like, right now. How crazy would that be? If I get the shiny right now, I wouldn't know what to do with the rest of the stream. Unlucky. So sad. It would be truly insane if that happened. Okay. Well, unlucky. That's okay. At least we got some nice chill music in the background to kind of help serenade us as we go through this trial and torment. It would be okay. So, I know I said this yesterday, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm going to add even more, like, to my logic, my reasoning. So yesterday I said it would be so convenient if we got the shiny around this time of the year, because I have a couple holidays coming up where I could just grind the game and grind DXP and get all 4 of these games to the point in the story where we'll be shiny hunting next, which is the arcade zone. And that's like halfway through the game, so I need to grind 4 video games to the halfway point, which is basically like playing 2 games fully. You take a half, multiply that by 4, that's just 2 games I have to play. And it would be really, really convenient if I got the shiny right now, because then I could start grinding all 4 of these games during these holidays that I have off and I'm visiting family, and I have a lot more time to just casually play a video game. However, today would be actually like the most convenient day for this to happen. No lie, like straight up the most convenient time for us to get the shiny would be right now. Because tomorrow, I'm going to my parents' house, and I went to go visit them because I asked, like, hey, what's a good day where everyone will be home? And they told me Saturday. And then I come to find out today, like, I literally was getting text messages right before the stream. Half of my family isn't even going to be home tomorrow. Now, I'm still going to visit. And plus, like, there's some things I need to get done when I go home. For example, like, the mechanic shop I go to get my car inspected or get my car fixed if something happens, it's closer to my parents than it is to me. Way closer. And yeah, like, I want to get my car checked out because I did get in an accident a couple months ago. And I don't know if the car is going to pass the inspection I have coming up next year. Post-accident. Like, the car is very damaged. And I just want to kind of get, like, a heads up from the mechanic, like, it will pass inspection, or it won't pass inspection. And, yeah. Like I said, there's a couple things I want to do while home. So I'm going to go home anyways. But, like, I mostly wanted to kind of, like, visit my family for the first time in a while. And like I said, I come to find out none of them are even going to be home. That's such a bummer. What a shame. Brings a tear to my eye. Also, I know today's live stream was supposed to start around the middle of the day, and I pushed it back. I low-key pushed it back because I was feeling so sick today. I almost canceled the live stream. But I thought to myself, like, alright, what if I take, like, a nap, try to lay in bed a lot, and just rest today, and maybe I'll feel better by the evening. And I do feel a little bit better, but I'll be honest with you, I still feel a little sick. I don't know, it's just a headache mostly. I have a raging headache. It's a bit of a bummer. But that's okay. Just hoping we can, at the very least, power through, get a ton of resets done today, and maybe, if we're lucky, get the shiny. I mean, like I said earlier, today of all days would be the perfect opportunity to catch a shiny, because, like, I'm gonna have so much free time tomorrow, apparently. Like, I'm visiting my parents' house, visiting my family, but no one's gonna be home. Like, for all I know, I might just be home alone for half the day, with nothing better to do than play 4 Pokemon games at once and grind 4 Pokemon games up until the point where we unlock the arcade zone. Sounds like a perfect plan to me. I'm really praying, like, we don't have to wait until the end of the year to catch this shiny. Like I said, all I want to do right now is catch this stupid freaking shiny. But it's okay, you know? It's out of my hands. I don't have control over the situation, sadly. I'm gonna sneeze. Ugh. Oh, that was close. Almost sneezed right on all 4 of these systems. Would have been bad. No, I'm a huge fan of these new stream graphics. I think it looks dope. I might be a little biased, but I love it. I love the new chat. The old chat was just like a box, you know? It has some cool decoration to it, you know. The chat.txt was kind of a vibe, a very similar aesthetic actually to what I'm going for right now. But I love the new chat. Oh, dang it, I actually clicked this one too many times. We're at 28, not 29. Sorry, I was finishing up work and missed all that. Can you repeat? You didn't miss much, brother. I was just explaining that tomorrow I'm both visiting my parents and also getting my car checked out, which means I'm gonna have a lot of free time tomorrow where I'm probably sitting around doing nothing. And therefore, and I know I say this almost every day, but it's because I'm manifesting, you know? I'm trying to bring my dreams to life. But therefore, today would be kind of the perfect day to get the shiny, because then I would have almost all day tomorrow where I'm doing absolutely nothing. Where I could grind out 4 video games at once and progress all 4 of these games to the arcade zone. I guess it's a lie. Technically, we'd only have to do 3 of them, because one of them will be live streaming, but that's okay. Gives me 1 less game to play. A little bit less work to do. I was also explaining how I felt very sick today. And I do still feel a little sick, like my head hurts a lot. I have a bit of a stuffy nose as well. And that's why I pushed the stream off. I was going to cancel it, but I'm like, let me sleep, take a nap, lay in bed, just kind of rest for a little bit and see if that helps me feel better. And I do feel a little better. And you know, lately my mindset has been, unless I am so sick that I cannot speak and get out of bed, or if it's like an emergency, I'm not canceling the stream. I've been trying to take streaming a lot more seriously, and on that note, been trying to take my stream schedule a lot more seriously. Because like in the past, I didn't have a stream schedule. My stream schedule was basically, at the end of every live stream, I would say when I'm streaming next. So, while I wasn't posting that information publicly on like any of my social medias the way I'm doing now with an actual schedule, if you wanted to find out when I'm streaming next, I would always just say like, oh, check out the end of my last VOD. I'm usually saying when I'm streaming next at the end of the last VOD, or, you know, if they asked, I would just tell them. I wouldn't gatekeep that information. That actually sounds so funny now that I think about it. The way I worded it sounds very silly. Like, if someone showed up to the stream right now, I'd be like, sorry, can't tell you. Can't tell you when I'm streaming next. I'm not allowed. You gotta wait till the end of the stream. Like, no, that's insane. Cool Kid Shorts. Hey, what's up? Hello, how we doing? But anyways, the point I was making is back in the day when I would have a much more casual stream schedule, and I guess a much more casual attitude with streaming. If someone asked me, like, hey, when are you streaming? I would say, like, oh, probably tomorrow. And then, oftentimes, I would just not stream the next day. I would cancel without telling anyone. Because I wasn't feeling well, or I wanted to go, like, hang out with friends instead. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's another perfect example. And I provided many examples about how in the past, I would stream way more casually, and now, in the present, I'm trying to take it way more seriously. I'm trying to really stick true and commit to my stream schedule. I mean, this past week, I even added a stream to the schedule unprompted. I was only supposed to stream 5 times in the last week, and we streamed 6, which is crazy. I just decided at random yesterday, I'm gonna stream, why not? And I'd rather do that than impromptu cancel a live stream, you know? Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That's actually my motto. I have that sign up above my bed. I actually have two little wooden placards above my bed. Very, very reminiscent of like home goods decor. Um, the one sign says gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss, of course. The other sign says this hoe sleeps here. A beautiful queen sleeps here. And it's just an arrow pointing down. It's an interesting chat message. You know, there was actually a board game titled that. And I know that only because my sisters own the board game, okay? Alright. I never played it. Definitely never played it with them. And I definitely don't own it now. But no, my sisters owned a board game called Pretty Little Princess or Pretty. I think it might have been Pretty Princess. Yeah. I think they just decided to repeat the word pretty twice. No, yeah, my sisters owned a board game called Pretty Princess, and looking back, it was kind of the most insane, dumbass idea for a board game. Like, there were no rules, if I remember. Or maybe we just weren't playing by the rules. But, like, in the board game, you had these different, like, tiaras and, like, dresses and shit you could dress your character up with. And then you just voted on who had the best outfit. But maybe we weren't playing right. I don't know. We were children, to be fair. Listen, I think it's honestly a blessing. Hello, In-N-Out. What about In-N-Out? I do love me a good burger. I had a burger for dinner because I was feeling sick, and my wife also wasn't feeling well, so we just got fast food. Well, she picked up fast food on the way home. I didn't work today. No, I think there's oftentimes some benefits to only having sisters. There were a lot of negatives, don't be wrong. But the fact that I only have 3 little sisters and no brothers, it helped me kind of tap into my feminine side, you know? I would want to watch Jurassic Park on the TV, but instead they constantly be booting up like the Disney Channel to watch Hannah Montana. But I used that experience. Alright, I studied, I learned. And I then was able to exploit that. You know, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, as we said in the chat, to use that to kind of gain favor with women once I went to college. Because, and this isn't true for every girl. Some girls, they want that alpha sigma man. But a lot of girls, they want a man who's attuned to their feminine side. And if I could use that to my advantage to try to swoon over some college girls, when I was in college, I should say. Not going for college girls nowadays. Be a little gross. It would be legal. It would be legal. But gross. You know, you pull out that feminine side, they're like, oh my god, you want to go back to my dorm and watch, like, Pretty Little Liars? I would love to. And, you know, I also think that there's nothing wrong between the relationship of Arya and Ezra. Oh my god, me too. I think they're the cutest couple on the show. Yeah, it's totally normal that a teacher's fucking his student. Right? Like I said, you know? You tap into your feminine side, and you can win a lot of girls' hearts. Bet y'all didn't know I had that Pretty Little Liars lore logged in my brain. We could go on a whole rant about Pretty Little Liars if you want on stream. It'd be the most opposite thing you probably ever expect from me. Completely opposite of what you would expect my character on stream to be, but I got that elite ball knowledge, let me tell you. Inshallah, you will get the shiny Charmander today. Thank you, brother. I believe. I fully believe. I've never been so confident. I'm a hero. No, I'm trying to talk as if I'm almost trying to paint this picture as if I was like some heartthrob swooning over girls, sweeping them off their feet when I was in college. That wasn't really the case. I did have a couple, relationships in college. Though I had a very nasty habit, and I'm not proud to admit this. If I look back over the course of my entire life, I've had more like flings, like friends with benefits situations, than actual relationships. I've technically only had like 2.5 real relationships. And I know you might be asking yourself, well, like, how do you have a half relationship? That math isn't mathing. Well, it's because I did participate in an online relationship for a little while, but I went into it under the expectation that, like, oh, we're gonna eventually meet up one day, we can make it long distance, and it'll work out. And it really wasn't that bad. Like, they only live 3.5, 4 hours away, give or take. I can't remember. I remember the state they lived in, but I don't remember where in the state they lived in because it was so long ago. So yeah, depending on where they lived for me, I'm not going to say the state, just in case they ever watch this VOD. Not trying to dox them, but they lived a couple states over from me. And if I remember correctly, it was only like a 3.5, 4 hour drive. That's light work for a long distance relationship. I know a lot of people, I have a lot of friends who are in long distance relationships where it was like halfway across the globe. And did a lot of those work out? No. Most of them have broken up by now. But it can work, even if you're halfway across the globe. And my mindset was, this could work easily, considering you're only 4 hours away. That's a day trip, basically. Drive 4 hours in the morning, hang out for the afternoon, and then I can drive 4 hours home and still be back in time for work the next day. Like, it should have been very easy. But again, I went into that relationship under the expectation and the willingness, like, to turn it into a long distance relationship where we actually saw each other in person, not just an online relationship. That was my goal. I actually wanted to spend time together in person with my girlfriend. Crazy thought. I don't think she had the same expectation nor the same desire. And I'm not saying she was just in it to play me, I don't think she's a terrible person. I just think that could have been maybe communicated better on both of our ends. Now, there were some situations that I do think were her fault. And I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible, because again, I'm always very paranoid that if I ever talk about anyone in my real life on stream, they're somehow going to watch this exact stream, this exact moment, and hear this exact story. So I try to give grace and be polite when talking about people I know in real life. It's just good manners. But we were about like just under a year. We hadn't hit our 1-year anniversary yet. Me and this girl had been dating for just under a year, and we had made literal plans for me to go out and visit her. We had a set date, a set time, and a rough schedule of when we were going to visit in person. And it was going to be the first time we ever hung out in person, which I admit, the fact that it took almost a year for that to happen was already kind of testing my patience, and it should have already been a red flag that, like, she didn't want it to be anything more than an online relationship. Like, I was willing to make it work in person and drive the 4 hours and see each other, and I was willing to make it long distance. I think she wanted to keep it online. That should have been the first red flag, and I should have realized that sooner, because, like I said, it took us almost a year to even plan a hangout. And like I said, I was fully committed to go drive 4 hours, and I think I even bought her like a present that I was going to surprise her with when I got there. And then with just like a week or two to go, we were a couple weeks away from hanging out, she canceled. And I actually broke up with her very shortly after that. Or no, I can't remember. I think we mutually broke up. I don't think. Hmm. I can't remember actually. Because I know I was done, but I think she was also kind of done after she saw how upset I was that she canceled on me. I think she realized she couldn't keep wasting my time, which was respectful of her. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm actually saying that as a compliment. I'm glad she didn't continue to waste my time. Because there are a lot of relationships where that is arguably the worst flaw you can have as a partner, and one of the most like heartbreaking things you can do to someone. Besides like cheating, that's obviously evil. Cheating is just straight up evil. But if you're in a relationship where you know it's not gonna last, you know you're not committed, but you're just staying in that relationship to be nice to the other person, to not hurt their feelings, you are just wasting that person's time. You're not only wasting your own time from finding a partner that would actually be the love of your life, but you're wasting the other person's time who is foolishly in this belief that they are in a relationship with the love of their life and they're not. So I think like besides cheating, one of the most common heartbreaking things that you'll see in modern day relationships are people just wasting each other's time. And usually it's one person doing it to another person, and that other person does not know. They are unaware that their time is being wasted. And that sucks. And again, I don't really have any resentment towards the girl that I dated online. It just could have gone better. Like, for example, if I knew going into it we were never going to hang out in person, I probably would have never dated her. Because again, in my head, I'm like, oh, we're only 4 hours away from each other. You live just a hop, skipping away from me. You know, you're just a couple states over. We can make a 4-hour long distance relationship work, but in their brain, I think they were going for more of a online only type of thing. So again, I don't really have resentment. I think that relationship helped me learn a lot about like communication, because it's easy to say, and everyone does say it. It's very easy to say that like communication's the biggest, most important thing in a relationship. Sounds obvious, but actually doing it, having the skills to follow through with that, and actually being in a relationship where there is an effective, open line of communication is kind of rare now, especially nowadays. But yeah, how do we get on this story? What? I don't even remember how I got down this rabbit hole. Give me a sec. My nose is still a little sniffly, so you're gonna hear me mute every once in a while. I'm really hoping this is just one of those stuffy noses that lasts for a day or two, and I feel fine by tomorrow, because I cannot get sick right now. I absolutely cannot get sick right now. Oh, I remember how we got on this topic. My apologies. No clue. So, we got on this topic because I made the statement that I've had more, like, friends with benefits type of situationships than relationships in my life. And I said that, like, I've technically had 2.5 relationships. And the joke is that the half relationship was the online relationship. But no, that's actually true. Like, I've only ever had 2.5 relationships in my life. But I've been in a lot of weird situationships, and I called it a fling earlier. That's maybe not an appropriate word, because I've never done a one night stand. I'm not that type of person, and I can respectfully, thankfully, say that I've never done a one night stand. But I have been in a lot of weird situationships where we never had a title, we never made it official, but we were definitely like a thing, you know? When you're making out with someone on the bus ride home from school, I think that breaks the barrier of situationship. But I don't know why. I mean, maybe it was my lacking social skills. I mean, we already kind of prefaced that with the last relationship I talked about, where I admit I needed to have better communication and just set my boundaries up front. Like, if I told that online relationship up front, like, if we do not meet in person, I don't want to date you, we probably would have never dated. So clearly, I didn't have the greatest communication skills growing up, especially when it came to relationships. I blame that a little bit on the fact that I lived such a sheltered life, so I wasn't able to develop social skills very well. I mean, I don't really regret it because I think having those moments of stumbling over myself and making those mistakes helped me learn from them and made me a better person before I met my wife. Because if I met my wife like but without learning any of those mistakes and without going through those experiences, I probably still would have had a terrible, terrible, just non-existent skill when it came to communication, and that maybe would have ruined my relationship with my wife. I think being able to learn from it and have at least a little bit of a skill towards communicating and making up from my previous mistakes helped me actually have a successful relationship with my wife. So it's all worth it in the end, you know? Just because I had a lot of very embarrassing situationships and I made some cringy mistakes in previous relationships, at least I learned from them, and it allowed me to have the skills to not ruin my now marriage with my wife. Like, if my wife was the first girl I ever dated, we probably would not have ever gotten married. She probably would have broken up with me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You learn from those mistakes. You become a better person, or at least you should. If you're not doing that, then what are we doing? What are we doing with our lives if we're not improving upon ourselves and learning from mistakes? But no, yeah, I don't know why growing up in like high school and college, I had a ton of weird situationships. Like, there was one girl. I've told this story before, and it makes me sound like such a fucking dick. Even though I'm the victim in this situation, it just kind of makes me sound like a playboy when I'm definitely not. My oldest sister is 2 years younger than me. All of my sisters are younger than me. I have 3 little sisters, but the oldest of them is just 2 years younger than me. And I don't know if everyone's high school was like this. I've talked to some friends who went to different high schools, and I talked with my wife about it, who went to like a normal public school. And they all say that it's kind of common, but not. Sorry, I should explain what I'm talking about. At my high school, there was a requirement to do community service. In fact, you actually had to have X number of hours in community service to graduate. And you could accumulate them across your entire high school experience, you know, across freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. But by the time you hit senior year and you were trying to graduate, you needed to have a certain number of community service hours. And they were very lenient on what they considered community service. And I know that because almost all of my community service hours were me helping my mom with Girl Scouts events. My mom was the Girl Scout troop leader for our area. And I would just go and like set things up, help her build different decorations or sets, and I would go like cook food for Girl Scouts events and do things like this or that, anything that I could do to help out. And it counted as community service. And as I went through a couple years, it was like basically 2 years of my life helping out with Girl Scout events, I also developed like a 2-year long situationship with one of the Girl Scouts. Which I know sounds so bad out of context, but you gotta remember, like, I was in 11th grade, they were in 9th grade. We were both technically in high school. But it definitely was a little taboo. Especially because I'm supposed to be there volunteering, helping, getting my community service, and instead I'm smacking lips with one of my sister's friends. Oops. Oopsies. But that was a weird situation because we never put a title on it. We were never officially boyfriend and girlfriend. And like, looking back, I don't know why we didn't. Maybe I just was terrible at communicating. I was terrible at establishing my, I guess, my requirements in a relationship, I don't know, my intentions. Because for like 2 years, we would text each other all the time. We would call each other like pet names, like baby. And then once every couple months, I would show up to a Girl Scout event and we would sneak away and make out. Like, there was one specific event I remember helping set up. It was called a star party. It was where the Girl Scouts were all gonna look through a telescope at stars, find like the different, what are they called when stars are in like a pattern? Constellations. Like, find different constellations, do things like that. And I helped my mom set up the telescope, and there was also like food and refreshments afterwards that I helped set up and, cook. Anyway, I'm finished setting up before the Girl Scouts get there. We had everything ready to go. And then for like the 3-4 hours that the event was going on, I had nothing to do. I was just kind of hanging out. I was just sticking around to help tear everything down afterwards and put everything away. But during the in-between time of setting everything up and tearing everything down, I literally had nothing to do. I was just like a fly in the wall. And the star party, this Girl Scout event, started with all the Girl Scouts looking through the telescope, finding different constellations, and then after they all were done taking turns doing that, like I said, they went inside and ate the food and refreshments I helped prepare. Well, they all went inside, except for me and the girl I was having a situationship with. We stayed outside and just made out because no one was around to catch us. Literally made out under the stars. Sounds romantic, right? She ended up ghosting me a couple months later. That's how that one ended. Can't really call it a breakup because we never put a title on it, but yeah, unlucky. Bit of a bummer. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know why, again, I got into so many weird situationships. I've had 2.5 real relationships, but at least 4 situationships that I can think of off the top of my head. There was the Girl Scout, the girl on the bus that I would flirt with and kissed a couple times. Some crazy things went down on school buses, man. I remember one dude on my bus got like a fucking blowjob on the school bus. My school bus was like fucking the Jerry Springer show, dude. Like, I don't know, man. There was also a fight that happened on my school bus one time, and it was between a high schooler and a middle schooler. Like, 2 completely different weight classes. What about us? Yeah, I had a situationship with brother Brandon, and honestly, the only reason that one ended is because I quit my job, and we don't work together anymore. If I was still working there, I mean, shit, we'd probably be flying out to Utah just so I could legally sign a second marriage. There was also a girl in middle school who lived across the street from me, and we would sometimes like hang out, kissed a couple times, flirted a lot, but we never put a title on it. And she ended up moving away, which is how that one ended. And that one actually still made me... Okay, it doesn't still make me sad. I'm a fucking married man. That's not what I mean. That one made me sad for the longest time. Like, I was still sad about it years later. Because that was probably the one relationship... I guess technically wasn't a relationship. That was like the one situationship that didn't end poorly. You know, I didn't get ghosted. Or the girl didn't send me like some angry text because I didn't want to smoke weed with her. That's a real story, by the way. One of my situationships ended because I didn't want to do weed. And she was big into pot. Just a difference of lifestyles, I guess. But the one situationship that was, actually genuine. It was also like my first ever like crush. All of these relationships and situationships I've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, they all happened in high school or college. This is the only one in middle school, so it really was like my first crush. And we got along really well. We would play like Mario Kart together. And if you know me, you know I love Mario Kart. So if I can play Mario Kart with a girl who I'm interested in and seems interested in me, I mean, at the very least, she's willing to hang out with me and kiss me. Like, I thought that was going to be my fucking soulmate. Now, granted, it was middle school, so clearly I was ignorant. But it broke my heart that she moved away. And, yeah. Took me a long time to get over that. I don't know. It's very funny to talk about. I'm not telling all these stories purely to boost my own ego. Again, most of these relationships and situationships were very heavily my fault and why they didn't work out, because I was terrible at communicating. It took me a long time to learn like how to be a good partner. Um yeah. I admit that a lot. So again, I'm not trying to boost my ego. I was not a very good boyfriend. One story I'll tell often as like an example of how I needed to grow and the red flags I had in the past. God dang it, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, fixed it. Anyways, yeah, one of my red flags that I really had to learn from and fix was in my first ever relationship. I was dating a girl who very much so would rant about anything, really. And if she was upset with me, that means she was ranting about me to me. And therefore, like, if I made her upset or we were fighting, I would oftentimes get these long, like 5-paragraph MLA essays. It would be following AP formatting, just fucking novels I would receive over text. And that was her toxic trait. 100%. If you're sending someone a fucking short story over text because you're angry at them, you have a red flag. If you are sitting here in the chat thinking like, I've done that before, that was a red flag. Just communicate in person. Text is the worst medium you could ever have an argument over. The absolute worst setting to have an argument. So her red flag, her toxic trait, was constantly sending me like long novel length texts about how mad she was and fighting over text. My toxic trait was I would receive this 5-paragraph essay over text and I would just respond, okay. And I admit that's also not that is not okay. That is definitely a red flag, but it was kind of funny because I hated communicating over text. I still hate communicating over text. And if you're gonna send me this long rant about how mad you are at me, I'm kind of gonna have this attitude of too long didn't read. Like, sorry, that sucks, or good for you. like that meme. Damn, I ain't reading all that. So either good for you or I'm sorry that happened to you. Which are usually the only two reactions you need when someone sends you a novel-length text. Those are the only two appropriate reactions you'll usually find. But yeah. I don't know, man. I think because I grew up very sheltered and I was never allowed to hang out with girls. If you're noticing the reoccurring thread between all of these stories I've told tonight, a lot of my relationships or situationships had to be hidden so my parents didn't find out. Like making out with a girl on the bus, or making out behind closed doors with one of my sister's Girl Scout members. Like all of those happened that way because I wasn't like allowed to go hang out with girls. And I think because many of them were like hidden relationships behind closed doors, it didn't help the relationship flourish. Crazy thought. And it also didn't help me learn how to be a better partner, which is why for a long, long time I was not a very good partner. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I look back at my former self and my former relationships and situationships with a lot of cringe. It's very embarrassing. Also, we're kind of killing it today. We're moving at a very efficient pace. I looked up at the screen and saw that we were at now 36 at the end of the reset counter. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, we got to 4,536. Like, that's not terrible. No, we're at 4,636. We've done 136 resets this stream. I don't know why, but I thought like we were only at 36. I think I'm moving at a very efficient pace, which is good. Be even better if we got the shiny, but I can beg, I can plead, I can cry. Not gonna change anything. I'll still do it to get some sympathy points from the chat, though. I mean, what would y'all do if I ever cried on stream? I've only done it once, and it wasn't like full-on open-mouth sobbing. It was just like a tear or two ran down my cheek. It was the only game that's ever made me cry, actually. And that was What Remains of Edith Finch. Beautiful game. I absolutely adore What Remains of Edith Finch. And I've played other games that are like stereotypical sad games, like emotional storytelling games. I've played a lot of them. And none of them have made me cry, except for What Remains of Edith Finch. And I think it made me cry because the main character felt very real, very relatable, and just had an emotionally gut-wrenching story. And also, that game did a very good job of portraying certain things in games that I think are oftentimes not done appropriately, or just at least not done well. I'll give you an example. Their depiction of like mental health and depression in that game, fucking amazing the way they did it. Like, normally when a game tries to have a character that's depressed or a character that kills themselves, they either go way over the top with it, they almost try to dramatize it, they try to make it like a soap opera, and I feel like that is almost disrespectful. It loses, to me at least, loses the emotional weight. If you're going so over the top, it's no longer serious to me, and that should be a very serious subject. Or some games will just have no idea what they're doing. They have no knowledge, obviously, of how mental health actually works, and the video game will just come across as stupid. Spoiler alert, but there's a character in What Remains of Edith Finch that kills himself. And I think it's the most appropriately well-written, accurate, and heartbreaking character I've ever seen in a game. Because again, it's not just all doom and gloom, it's not just a soap opera, but it's also not stupid. Like, they know how to kind of toe that line, and it's a very thin line. It's a very thin gray area when you're talking about like mental health and a character in a video game that kills themselves. It's a very, very small gray area between it being over dramatized and not treated seriously on that extreme, and on the other extreme, there's characters that are not treated seriously and not given the importance that they should be given, and therefore not taken seriously on the other end of the extreme. So yeah, I don't know. What Remains of Edith Finch is the only video game that's ever made me cry, and I just so happen to be live streaming it. But again, I wasn't full-on sobbing. Just a couple tears rolling down the cheek. But like, what would y'all do if I did just start absolutely sobbing? Just wailing on stream? I feel like I have a relatively nice chat. We've cultivated a very respectful chat. And therefore, I don't think actually it would be that bad if I cried on stream. I don't think it would be like a blow to my character. I don't think I would lose followers over it. There are a couple games that I want to play that I've had friends tell me have emotionally wrecked them. For example, I own Outer Wilds. I've yet to play it though. And I've done a very good job of not spoiling the game. I haven't seen any spoilers. In fact, the Outer Wilds community is almost created this environment where they refuse to talk about the game with anyone who hasn't played the game, so they don't spoil the game for them. Like, I've never seen a video game community be that dedicated to keeping the game's story under lock and key and not spoiling it to people. It's almost impressive, because I'll get things spoiled to me all the time, whether I want to or not. That's just how, like, oftentimes social media works. Like, I had Twitter spoil the next 5 years of Pokemon releases to me. I don't know if you guys saw those spoilers. I'm not going to talk about them right now, in case anyone doesn't want to have it spoiled. But there was a huge leak from the Pokemon company. Technically not the Pokemon company, actually. Someone hacked into the servers, the databases of a third-party company that works with Pokemon, and therefore had a lot of Pokemon's plans and transcripts and graphics. And these hackers were basically able to leak the next 5 years worth of Pokemon games. There were some graphics they were able to get, some like outlines of video games and how the games are going to work. It's crazy. And normally, that's not something I would want to have leaked. That's not something I would want to have spoiled? Yeah. But it got spoiled to me anyways, because that's just Twitter, baby. 1 second you're scrolling, and you see Pokemon leaks without your consent, without your permission. And the next second you're scrolling, and you see just full-on, in-your-face porn. Once again, without your consent, and without your permission. That's just Twitter, baby. So yeah, like, I have a ton of things spoiled to me. By choice, or oftentimes not by choice. But the one thing that's never been spoiled to me is the Outer Wilds story, which I'm glad. I'm very grateful for. And I think that's a testament to the community of players in that game. Because, like, the game is talked about so much. People hype it up so much. And I bought it like a year ago during either the summer sale or maybe a Steam winter sale. I don't remember. But I bought the game, and I do want to play it sooner rather than later. I've talked a lot about my video game backlog, and my backlog is not as big as some other people. There's one of my chatters. Why can I not remember who it is? Oh, it's Hollow Man. Sorry. Hollow Man is oftentimes in the chat, and he'll talk about the fact that his video game backlog's in the thousands. Mine is in like the 400s, 500s. Can't remember. I can pull it up right now, actually. Outer Wilds is your next playthrough you won't tell us about? Yeah. This is me exposing myself, actually. Exposing myself on stream? Sorry. Games in my backlog. Let me open up this Word document. Oh no, I don't have it numbered though. How would I count this? Could I count it by lines? Okay. I'll show you what I mean. Give me a second. Let me... This also isn't super up to date. There's at least 20 games I need to add to this that I've purchased since I last updated this this list. So, I have this Word document called Single Player Games in my backlog, and I don't have it fully ranked out the way I do on my phone. So on my phone, I have a ranking of like the next 50 games I want to play, and it's an order of importance. Like number 1 is the next game I gotta play, whereas number 50 is like a game I should play hopefully in the next couple years. This Word document on my computer is set up a little bit differently, and it's set up more for like a stream and like thinking about the stream. Less about the importance of the game, more about the importance of the stream. And you'll see that here at the header. I have games separated by how long they'll take me to play. So this list is single stream games, games that are under 4 hours I could beat in one stream. And then you'll see if it has a red circle next to it, it's a low priority, yellow circle next to it, medium priority, and a green circle next to it, high priority. So I got all those games I could play in one stream. The next category are a couple streams I can beat. 4 to 8 hours, 4 to 8 hours to complete these games. Once again, they're worded in alphabetical order, but they have their priority next to them. After that are games that'll take me several streams to beat, so 9 to 20 hours. And then finally, I have streams that would be a whole series. 20 plus hour games that'll take many, many streams to beat. And I don't know how we would figure out how many games are on this list, because I could look at the word count. That doesn't help me much. I could look at the page count. That also doesn't help me much. I wonder if there's a way I could do it by lines. How many lines are there? I don't know if that's a thing you can do. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The number of games in my backlog is not that important. I don't know why I'm focusing so much on it. So yeah. There's at least 300 to 400 games in my backlog, and I know that's not as bad as some other gamers. People who are out here with hundreds of games in their backlog. Or thousands, sorry. Like I said, Hollow Man has over 1,000 in his backlog. But I've been really trying to have a resolution, a motivation, and a determination. Such fancy words for such a simple fucking concept. I'm making myself sound almost too gaudy. No, I've been really trying to play more games lately that are in my backlog and beat new games instead of playing old games over and over and over again. And I realize I'm saying that while currently being the biggest hypocrite of that, because we're doing 2 games currently on our stream. We have 2 playthroughs that are actively going on. One is this right here, Pokemon Fire Red, a game I've played before, and the other playthrough we're doing right now on stream is Stardew Valley, a game I've played many times before. Alright, I know I'm being a little hypocritical, but besides those 2 playthroughs, I actually have done a really good job this year of playing new games and beating some of the games in my backlog. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm very proud of that, and I want to keep working towards that. In fact, one of my New Year's resolutions was that I'm only allowed to buy a game if I beat a game. So my backlog, at the very least, doesn't grow. It might plateau. Maybe it'll go down a little bit by the end of the year, but at least my backlog isn't growing, and I've done a very good job of that. It's been difficult, though, because I've only beaten, a handful of games this year, and therefore I've only purchased, 5 games this year, 6 games. Oh, wait, maybe more, because I bought Switch 2 games. I've only bought, 5 games on Steam, but I also have purchased 5 games on my Switch 2. Oops. But yeah, It's been very difficult, by the way, to do that. I've had to have a lot of willpower because normally during like the Steam summer sale or the Steam winter sale, I'll buy 100 games. And this year, I didn't buy a single game. 0 games during the Steam summer sale, which I think shows that I've actually grown a little bit. You know, I have some restraint. And I'm very proud of that. It was tough, you know? It was really tough. First Steam summer sale where I purchased 0 games in, I think, my entire life, actually. In the, like, 11 years I've had a Steam account. But I'm proud. But yeah, the Outer Wilds is, like, towards the top of my priority list, and I definitely want to play that soon. Very determined. Like I said, I heard it's heartbreaking. I've also heard from people that have played the Outer Wilds that once you play it, your entire perspective of like life will change afterwards. Which is almost scary to think about. But they say it like it's a good thing, so maybe I shouldn't have fear. You know, because you said it in the chat, I probably should make the Outer Wilds my next playthrough. I'm not going to. Alright, I'm not spoiling the secret. The only information I'm giving y'all is that it's on either the DS or the 3DS. It is a DS game. But otherwise, I'm not spoiling nothing. Alright. I'm very excited, though. Yeah. My nose still feels so stuffy. I'm so sorry. I gotta, like, clear my nose for a sec. I'm so mad that I'm sick right now. I feel like I've been sick a lot this year, which sucks. I usually never get sick. Wait, did I already counted these 4? Oopsies. No, yeah, I usually never get sick. But this year, I've been going through it. It's a bummer. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have a plan in mind. I don't have a specific stopping point in place for this stream. I'm just going to keep going until I get bored, or sometimes my back will hurt. Actually, most of these live streams, my back starts hurting because of the angle I need to sit at. With my legs, like, straddling this tripod. And also I'm, like, hunched over looking down at 4 consoles. Yeah. Normally, I'll live stream until we hit, like, 4,000 or 4,500. But today I'm just gonna go for as long as I think is appropriate. Or until we get the shiny, and then we can maybe go to bed a little early tonight. The Outer Wilds, I've heard so many things about it. I've heard it's so good that it's actually one of the only games I have currently featured on my Steam profile that I've never played, which I realize kind of makes me a poser, but I just know it's going to be so good. Everyone talks about how good it is, that it would be a disservice to not feature that game on my Steam profile. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, on Steam, you can have different little workshops and featured showcases on your profile. And my Steam account it's a stupidly high level. I've spent way too much money on trading cards and experience to level up my Steam profile. And the higher level your Steam profile is, the more showcases you can have, more things you can display on your profile. So I have 2 fully leveled up game showcases which means I can showcase 24 games on my Steam profile. And that's like basically putting 24 games on your profile that you think are good, you love, or are specific to you. It's very reminiscent of like the old MySpace days where you could have your 8 best friends. Just a little shout out, little showcase of the 8 people you're closest to. The Steam game showcases are kind of similar to that. It's like your 24 best games, 24 games you love the most. And I have my showcase set up a little bit differently, where instead of it just being the 24 games I love the most, it's actually grouped into genres. So it's not just my first favorite game down to my 24th, Jesus Christ. It's not just my first favorite game down to my 24th favorite game. I have 4 games that I love from the JRPG genre, 4 games I love from the creature collector genre, or as a lot of people call it, Pokemon knockoffs. I think the word knockoff's a little disrespectful, especially for some of the games I own. Like Temtem is a completely original experience and arguably better than a lot of modern day Pokemon games. I have 4 platforming games on there and things like that. And most of the games that I have featured on my showcase, featured on my profile, I have played. But there are a couple that I admittedly haven't played, but I know they're so good that it would feel like disrespectful to not feature them. And Outer Wilds is one of those. It's in the category of games I consider story or like emotional games. Like I have Undertale on there, I have Outer Wilds on there. I think I have What Remains of Edith Finch in that category. But I haven't played the Outer Wilds. So maybe I'm a bit of a poser. That's okay, I'm actually a poser twice over. Dr. Susan, this bitch. No, I'm a poser twice over because I have Hollow Knight in my section of 4 platforming games. And I've never played Hollow Knight. I also know it's not technically a platformer, it's more of a Metroidvania. But like, I can only showcase 24 games, so I kind of have to start generalizing genres. Like, I don't have enough space on my Steam profile to specify whether or not it's a 2D platformer, a 3D platformer, a Metroidvania. Like, no, it's just platformers. My 4 best platforming games on Steam. But otherwise, most of the games I have featured on my Steam I've played, or I've spent time playing, like, off camera. Like, there's one game I have on there, Red Dead. I've never streamed Red Dead, but I played Red Dead. I used to actually play it over at my cousin's house. So I don't think I'm technically being a poser by putting Red Dead on there. Also, again, Red Dead's like one of the greatest games of all time. I'd be a poser. I'd be disrespectful if I didn't have Red Dead in my game featured showcase. Beautiful. I'm gonna adjust my chair. It's difficult to move my chair though with this tripod in the way. I don't want to knock the tripod over. Give me 1 sec. I didn't realize the chat reset itself. So one thing I hate about switching stream scenes is my chat will reset back to default, aka nothing in the chat. And that always makes me a little sad. We're gonna... Do I have any fun emotes? Not really. That's kind of my fault. I'm not subbed to a lot of people. Though a lot of the people I used to be sub to were like small streamers or like other streamers that I would play with. Like I used to stream with a lot of other small streamers, and over the years, most of them have just stopped streaming because they moved on, got real jobs, and gave up on Twitch. I say that like I don't have a real job. I have a real job. I just still stream on Twitch. So I don't really have any fun emotes right now. I do have Pokemon themed emotes. What Pokemon do we want to post in the chat? Ooh. Decidueye, Darkrai. Oh, but we have Chandelure. And you know, Chandelure, one of my favorites of all time. Chandelure was like one of the goats of my Pokemon Legends ZA playthrough. Shout out to Chandelure, honestly. I don't know if I counted these four. No, see, this is why I shouldn't have stopped playing the game. That's why I don't pause the stream, because I don't remember if I counted these four towards our total. I think I did already, and I'd rather have the number be less than what it is than more. You know, I'm not trying to cheat. So we're going to reset. I think I already counted these four. Truthfully, do not know. But I think I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. Beautiful. Shout out my girl Chandelure. I also think it's so funny, and it was entirely unintentional, that almost my entire party in Pokemon Legends ZA was female Pokemon. It was just a girly squad, you know? I'm just taking down Rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon with the girls. Me and the girls. I think the only exception to that was my starter. My Feraligatr was a boy. Me and Totodile are the boys. The rest of my party were the girls. Yeah, now that I think about it, Sorry, I'm starting to question how I want to play this game. How I want to do this playthrough. Just a little bit. Also, I'm getting a headache, so I might take a quick break. Yeah, give me 1 second, boys. I'm gonna go grab some medicine and maybe a drink of water. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, boys. Like I said, I'm definitely not feeling well today. I have a stuffy nose and a headache. And I probably should have just canceled the stream instead of pushing it off till tonight. Excuse me. Got the hiccups. But like my logic was, maybe if I rest today and I sleep, take a nap, and lay in bed for most of the day, I'll feel good enough to stream. Holy shit, bro. It like comes in waves. Like either I'm sneezing and my nose is sniffly, or like my nose clears up. Like for the first time in an hour, I feel like I can breathe. My nose doesn't feel clogged. But then when my nose stops, you know, choking me. When my nose stops fucking being all sniffly, then the headache comes back. It's like they're taking turns. They're taking shifts. It just sucks, man. I don't know why the fuck I've been so sick lately. I should probably like go to an urgent care or something. That's kind of out of my tax bracket, you know? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, we're at 4,700. All good, dude. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for being considerate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know, man. I took a quick break just to down some medicine in like an entire water bottle. You know, maybe... Okay. I'm not a doctor, so what I'm gonna say probably is really stupid. But like, maybe I should try to put some vitamins in my daily routine. I've heard from people who take like daily vitamins that it really helps them feel more energetic and they get sick less. And like, I don't know why, but I always kind of equated vitamins with like a very... Not cringe. Cringe isn't the right word. I don't think vitamins are cringe, but almost like I turn my nose away from it. Like, I don't need vitamins. And maybe it's because I was forced to take vitamins as a kid growing up. So for me, I always equated them with like something I didn't want to do, almost childish. But maybe that could be not a solution to my constant illnesses I've been having this year. I don't know why. But at the very least, it could maybe help. It might not be a solution, but it might at least start putting me in the right direction. I don't know. My wife takes vitamins. But I don't want to steal hers, you know? I don't want to start stealing my wife. Sorry. I just started thinking about it like, you know, you're robbing family members of medication. Like, going to your grandma's house and taking all the pill bottles out of her fucking bathroom. I'm reselling Granny's Xanax. No. Maybe. I don't really know a lot about vitamins though, so I don't even know like what vitamins to take. I guess I could take a multivitamin. That would cover everything, right? Surely. Like so. I should probably go to the doctor and figure out why I've been like feeling such, I don't know, like such shit lately. But the last time I went to the hospital for just like a checkup, not even like I was sick, just like a little physical, that shit costs so much. And I got good insurance right now. It cost a fucking arm and a leg. So, can you blame me for having a very, I don't know, hesitant attitude when it comes to doctors? It's not even that I'm scared of the hospital. I'm just scared of my bank account hitting fucking zero. Oh shoot, I accidentally nicknamed that Charmander. That's only like the second mistake we've made this stream though. And calling it a mistake's harsh. Like, it just wastes a little bit of time and it makes these resets take a little longer. But like, otherwise, we've been very efficient this stream. We've been moving at a very fast pace. quite proud of us. Kind of killing it, boys. Kind of killing it. My elbows? Okay, I need to start using lotion. Not a big lotion guy. Maybe you can't see it, but my elbow is getting ashy, and it's only this one. I don't know if I'm like constantly leaning to one side, or if like when I'm at work, that elbow is just rubbing up against my desk in an uncomfortable and awkward way. I don't know what's going on. I mean, the reason I never normally use lotion is because I don't need it. Like, my hands are buttery soft. You'd think I'd be using fucking like coconut oil on my fingers. No, I'm just a naturally smooth, soft person. And if you're into that, hit me up. But recently, and this has only been an ailment, if you want to call it that. I've only been experiencing it for like the last year. But like, my elbows are getting so fucking ashy. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just getting old, boys. I don't know. I don't like to think about it. I don't like to think about age. And they say age is just a number. Sorry. I couldn't even fucking say it without laughing. So stupid. Oh, hey, it's Abby. It's my... Yeah, I put it in the microwave like you asked. Hi, Abby. Tired? I'm sorry. What if you take a nap now, so you have a little bit of energy later, and we play Stardew? Me and you. Oh, the dog is angry. He's an angry guy. That's okay. Take a nap. Do whatever you need. We don't gotta play Stardew tonight. Bork, bork. I probably shouldn't double dip on Stardew either. Like, I'm playing that single player corn only challenge. And then if I play a ton with you, when I'm not playing that, it might make me burn out a little faster. I would never hate Stardew. I just sometimes take breaks from... What'd you say? No, I wouldn't say that. Stardew's such a chill game. I just take breaks from it sometimes. Same way with like Minecraft. Minecraft is a very chill game. Like, on paper, Minecraft is a game that I would play every day for my entire life. But sometimes you just gotta take some breaks, you know? Minecraft has that weird curse called the 2-week phase, and I experience that often. Play for 2 weeks, don't play for 2 weeks. Play for a month, then don't play for 3 months. And like, Minecraft would arguably be in my top 3 games of all time. Actually, if I had to say right now, gun to my head, it would be third. Of the hundreds of games I've played in my lifetime, Minecraft would be third, behind Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Pokemon Black and White 2. I can't think of any other game that would be up there, actually. Stardew would probably be in the top 10. What other games should I put up there? I've been live for 1 hour 30. We're at 224 resets for the night, aka 4,724. 4,724. That's okay, we're gonna actually be ending the stream soon because I'm gonna get the shiny right fucking now. Right now, boys. See, I'm also excited to get the shiny because once we do, and we can finally start playing some of these games, Abby's gonna play one and experience the original games for the first time ever. It's like a rite of passage, you know? I would never make her play the original red, blue, yellow, or God forbid, the Japanese green. just forced her to play a game in a different language. No, those games, they were good for the time, and it got the series rolling. But they're definitely the first games in the series, and they play like the first game. I mean, I've only ever played Yellow, all the way through. I've played a little bit of Red. I've never touched my copy of Pokemon Blue. And the reason those games are kind of like more of a collector's item than a game I actually want to play is because going back, man, there's some things about those games that are rough. The thing that stands out the most to me, especially compared to modern Pokemon games, is the fact you can't run anywhere. Just to get from place to place is so slow because you're walking at an ungodly, boring pace. Speaking of chill music, I know we were talking about it earlier. This song is so good for just some generic overworld music. I have so many memories associated with this song because you'd hear it so often in the overworld of Final Fantasy IX. And it's so bubbly and light and beautiful. Like, you think about overworld music, it's basically just background noise. It doesn't need to be anything special. And I think this song it treads a very beautiful line of being chill and not too in your face, not distracting, because that's not what overworld music's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be distracting. And yet it's still so relaxing and beautiful and like memorable. Like, outside of this song, I can't think of many memorable overworld soundtracks from video games or like background soundtracks. Like, some of the only other, I guess another example I can think of is World 2 from New Super Mario Bros. Oh shoot, actually, it might be New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I can't remember. It's either the original New Super Mario Bros. Or New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But World 2 in that game has some really good background music. Oh man. I'm just living my best life, boys. I feel like if we do get the shiny right now, I'd almost have to... I kind of have to mitigate my reaction. Especially if Abby's trying to sleep. She might already be asleep. Don't want to wake her up, piss her off. What? Nothing. I love you. You deserve a nice, sweet nap. Yeah. What song is this? Give me one sec. Let me check. All these games boot up. Really? The Salt Flats from Final Fantasy VIII. I'm surprised I recognized that. Like, I recognized it, but I didn't know what it was. And sure, I've played Final Fantasy VIII, so it's like not shocking I recognized it, but I've only played Final Fantasy VIII once. I played that game one time, and that's it. Probably, I might not ever play it again. I just don't love it. The story makes me annoyed. Maybe we'll play it a second time, just to play it on stream, because, you know, I played that game in, like, middle school. Obviously, I wasn't streaming back then. But what annoys me about Final Fantasy VIII is it has this amazing story, really good characters, and the entire second half of the game isn't real. Spoiler alert, the entire second half of the game is a dream. And at the end of the game, you find out that your character actually died halfway through the game, and the entire second act is just a dream. And that pisses me off. One, because it ruins a really good game. Like, you think that you've overcome this evil villain, and you've won, and you've succeeded, and instead of getting that happy ending, you get an ending where you realize you were dead the whole time. But also, the reason that pisses me off is because it's such a, like, childish twist. It's such a childish ending. That quite literally is a twist ending that, like, some middle schooler would come up with. Like, and it was all a dream. No, like, fuck off. It makes me so mad. Shoot. Sorry, this Game Boy in the bottom left always falls behind. And maybe I'm just not pressing the buttons properly. Maybe it's just my fault. It's always behind. Sorry, I'm looking up at my chat and looking at, like, my stream, and I love this new chat box that I'm using. I love the new chat box, the alert box, these new graphics. I'm so happy with them. I'm very proud. I absolutely adore the aesthetic of this current chat. The Windows 95 paint, and then the Windows 95 hyper terminal for the alerts. It's just an aesthetic that I fucking adore. Like, Windows 95, I didn't necessarily grow up with it. I more grew up with, like, Windows XP, but I remember Windows 95 because our first family computer was running on Windows 95. Then the first computer I ever owned was on Windows XP. And then I also have a lot of nostalgic love for Windows 7. I actually still would make the argument that Windows 7 is the best version of Windows that has ever been released, past or present, probably future, because it seems like modern day Windows just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, I fucking hate Windows 11. I already hated Windows 10. In fact, I actually refused to upgrade to Windows 10 for the longest time until sorry. Let me restart that sentence. I refused to upgrade to Windows 10 for a long time, and I was still on Windows 7 when Windows 10 was in its infancy. I actually never experienced Windows 8 because I just committed to Windows 7. But then, eventually, a lot of modern games required you to be on Windows 10 in order to play them. And that's when I felt like I was forced to upgrade to Windows 10, and I hated it. And then, as you know, as of October this year, very recently, we were all forced to upgrade to Windows 11 because Windows 10 was losing its support. And I hate Windows 11 even more. If I had it my way, I would still be on Windows 7. I fully believe it is the best version of Windows to ever be made. But I also have a lot of nostalgic love for Windows XP, because that was the first computer I ever owned. And I have a lot of love for Windows 95, because it was my first family computer. First computer I ever got to, play around with and experience was Windows 95. So, out of pure nostalgia, and also because it does kind of fit the vaporwave aesthetic that my channel's been slowly transitioning to. Like, I've never really had a theme on my live stream, the graphics, the artwork, there's never been a through line. I mean, a lot of it's Pokemon themed, and that's going to stay the same, just because I've slowly been moving a lot of my art and graphics over Vaporwave, and having a Vaporwave aesthetic isn't going to change the fact that, like, when someone follows, they're going to get a random Pokemon, because I think that's cool. I think it's cool that I've, like, hundreds of different follow notifications, so every different person who follows gets a different Pokemon in their notification. It's very much so like a gotta catch 'em all type of vibe. So that's not going to change. But outside of, like, some of my, like, following notifications and subscriber notifications being Pokemon themed, there wasn't really an aesthetic or a consistent through line when it came to my channel. And I've been slowly kind of making my channel have a Vaporwave aesthetic. Or at least that's what I'm going for. That's my end goal, is for the live stream to be very heavily themed after a Vaporwave aesthetic. And these Windows 95 graphics match that aesthetic pretty well. Very fitting. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bored or, like, annoyed with how long this shiny hunt's taking, I just remind myself of how easy the next shiny hunt's gonna be at the arcade zone, or the arcade corner, sorry, is what it's called. I always get arcade corner and safari zone mixed up. I'll like mix and match those words. We're gonna be at the safari arcade. No, when we go to the arcade zone, I'm very excited. No, I said arcade zone again. Oh my god, it's the arcade corner. I even tried to correct myself and I still got it wrong. Like I said, I just mix them up all the time in my brain. They're like interchangeable words. When we get to the arcade corner, the next shiny hunt is gonna go by so much more quickly, because instead of doing like 4 Charmanders every reset, we're gonna be able to do like over 100 Abra every reset. It's gonna be so great. I can't wait. I'll have to figure out, like, the math and exactly how many Abra we'd be getting each reset to make the, you know, the number on screen go up to that exact amount every reset. That sounds obvious, but it is going to be a little difficult because the number's probably going to be like something random, like 113 or something. Like, it's not going to be a consistent just 4, which is easy to remember, keep track of. Like, I'm not probably going to use this clicker for the Abra shiny hunt, because I'm not going to sit here after each reset and press the clicker like 113 times. But the way I have it set up for the number on screen, at least, is if I press the button to go down 1 reset, it goes down 4, up 1 reset, it goes up 4. So we always know we're on the correct number. And I'll have to edit that so it goes up like 113 every reset. Or if we press the button 1 too many times, it'll go down 113. It'll look very funny on stream, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm excited because it's a shiny hunt that'll go by hopefully so much more quickly, because we're doing over 100 every reset instead of 4. Like, I don't even know the math on that. Actually, I do know the math on that. That's 25 times as fast. 4 goes into 100 25 times. So it's at least 25 times as fast. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing it. I'm not very good at math. If that isn't obvious, I was an English major in college. Math is not my strong suit, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct by saying it'd be at least 25 times as fast. I love this music. The songs we're getting on this playlist, chef's kiss. This sounds like some chill cafe music. Like you're sitting in some coffee shop with wooden tables and metal chairs, and you're sipping on an espresso while writing the next great American novel. It's just beautiful music, I think depending on how long the shiny hunt takes is going to ultimately decide how many shinies we catch in this playthrough. Because the whole challenge is like beating the game with just shiny Pokemon. And technically, you could do that with 2 minimum. Like, it would suck because both of your Pokemon would just basically be HM slaves. In fact, there are 7 HMs in this game. So you would only have 1 move across those 2 Pokemon that isn't an HM. 1 move that you actually get to pick player's choice. But then the rest of your moves are all going to be the boring HM moves, which are honestly in these older games pretty bad. Like Cut does, I think, 20 damage. It's so bad. In the newer games, or no, I think it's Rock Smash that does 20 damage. Cut does like 30 or 40. Yeah, Rock Smash does 20 damage. And in the newer games, it at least does like 50 or 60. They all but doubled it. Oh shoot, the counter on screen's a little behind. We're supposed to be at 4788. Yeah, bro. The HMs suck, and I don't know if I could beat the game with just 2 Pokemon, because 7 of my moves would be HMs, and therefore 7 of my moves would be pretty much terrible. I mean, Surf is good. Surf does a pretty good amount of damage. It's a hard-hitting move, but otherwise, it's not for me. But I've been going back and forth, and I've said this in previous shiny hunting streams, where I keep going back and forth between whether or not I want to catch 4 Pokemon or 5 Pokemon. And I would always say, well, it's going to depend on how long the shiny hunts take. If all 4 shiny hunts take a really, really long time, I'm not catching 5. We're going to beat the game with 4 Pokemon. But if we get really lucky with some of these shiny hunts, maybe we will catch 5 Pokemon. And maybe this is just the first sign of my patience starting to be tested, because we're not even above odds with the shiny hunt yet. The odds of getting a shiny in this game are 1 in 8,000. I think it's 8,100, but whatever, same thing. The odds in this game are 1 in 8,100. And therefore, we're like only halfway there for this shiny hunt. We have not made it anywhere near 8,000 yet, and therefore we're not over those odds yet. We haven't officially got like unlucky. If we got the shiny right now, it'd actually be very, very lucky, because we're nowhere near 8,000. But even though I'm still under odds, and I haven't surpassed that 8,000 number, I'm starting to lose my patience. And I think it's mostly because I'm so used to doing shiny hunts in the newer games, where the odds are like 1 in 400, or 1 in 800, depending on if you have a shiny charm or not. And because my patience is being tested, And I'm already such an impatient person. I'm now thinking to myself, like, could we beat this game with 3 Pokemon instead of 4? And I don't think I'm gonna go to that extreme yet. I'm mostly just joking around and being, like I said, impatient. But if this shiny hunt does take a long time, if this shiny hunt goes over odds, and then the next one we do, Abra, goes over odds, and then the third shiny hunt we do also goes over odds. Like, if all 3 shinies go over the 1 in 8,000 odds, take a really, really long time, I don't know, boys. I might not catch a 4th shiny. We'll basically have to have 2 HM slaves and then 1 Pokemon that's like our closer, our pinch hitter, pinch runner, our relief pitcher. You know, that's what it's going to boil down to. 1 good Pokemon and 2 HM slaves. Because the way I have it planned out in my head right now, regardless of whether or not we catch 4 Pokemon or 5 Pokemon, one of them's going to be an HM slave, and then the other Pokemon in our party are going to have the rest of the HMs sprinkled throughout. So one Pokemon will have 4 moves, all of them HMs. And then, like, Charizard will have 1 HM. Abra will have 1 HM. You know, spread the love, kind of thing. But if we have to change our plans and change course to a playthrough of only 3 Pokemon, that's basically going to force 2 of them to be HM slaves, because there's 7 HMs. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we end up doing. We're at 4,800 though, by the way. 300 resets down tonight already. That's kind of crazy. We're kind of killing it. But, like I said, I shouldn't talk negatively yet. I shouldn't be pessimistic. We're nowhere near the 1 in 8,000 odds. We're not at 8,000 yet. I think once I pass 8,000, then I'll start to get a little testy. A little, impatient. Listen, I admittedly am such an impatient person. It's one of... We were talking about my toxic traits earlier and how I've thankfully done a very good job of fixing them and learning from them and growing. One of the toxic traits about me that I have not learned from, I've not fixed, definitely haven't grown out of it, is my impatience. Just, you know, I have a very, very impatient attitude when it comes to most things in life. Okay. Also, I was thinking about the Heart Gold and Soul Silver shiny hunt we're eventually going to do, because for those of you who don't know, which don't know how that's possible, because I've said it in almost every shiny hunting live stream, my plan, this is a very long-term plan, alright, over like the next decade of my life, next 10 years, I want to play every Pokemon region with shinies only. And the reason I specify region is I'm not playing every game. I'm not playing both Fire Red and Leaf Green with shinies only. But I do want to beat every region. So, for example, right now we're playing the Kanto region, the first ever region in the game. And then after that, we're going to move on to the Johto region. And for the most part, we're going to go in order. The only time that is going to be not followed, the only time that order is going to be broken, is with Galar. Because I've actually, technically, already beat the Galar region with shinies only. It was a challenge playthrough I did like 4 or 5 years ago. I played Pokemon Sword with shinies only. So we've done this challenge once before. And we've completed this challenge in the Galar region. But I wanted to bring this, challenge back this year and start with the original. First, the preliminary, the literal grandfather of Pokemon regions, where it all began, and that's the Kanto region. So we're starting with the Kanto region, and then we'll move on to the second region, Johto. Then after that, we'll move on to the third region, Hoenn, and it'll follow suit. However, for the Johto region, I've been kind of already planning out what I want to do, and I've been coming up with ideas of how we could stream it. Because I have a capture card for my DS, but I only have one. So, what I've been wrestling with, and I've been going back and forth about, is whether or not I would do something similar to what we're doing right now, where I play on like 4 DS systems at once. Or, if I use my capture card DS, but then I can only play on 1 game at once, which would make the shiny hunt so much slower. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, why are those the only 2 options? Why can I only do one or the other, when we could technically do both? And therefore, I've thought about it, and like, we could do 1 shiny hunt on the capture card, and have that captured footage on the screen, but then keep using this camera to capture, like, 3 other games that I'm not screen recording because I don't have capture cards for them, but I can still play them on my desk. And I don't know exactly how the stream layout would look. It might be a little difficult to make a good stream layout with all of that footage on screen, because you'll have to have like my face cam on screen, this camera on screen, and then a third screen, a third recording for the capture card. And fitting all of that into one stream setup is a little tricky, admittedly. But I think we could do it, and I think that would actually be very entertaining. It's almost making me regret that I didn't do it for this shiny hunt. And maybe after we find the shiny Charmander, I'll make a new layout for shiny Abra, which is the next shiny we're going to be hunting. Maybe we'll do a new layout where I have 1 game up on the screen being captured with the capture card, because again, I could technically use my capture card to record 1 of these, just not all 4, but have 1 of them up on the screen with the capture card, and the rest of the systems being recorded by this shitty $14 webcam. It's an option, and honestly, it would probably look a lot better, because then there'd at least be 1 screen that's being screen captured, and there'd be 1 game that is in good high quality definition versus a $14 webcam being pointed at all of the games, and none of the games are therefore in high definition. It would at least give you 1 game to watch, and there'd be gameplay footage being recorded in HD. I think it would help. So maybe that's what we'll start doing for the next shiny hunt. I'm not going to do it for this one. I don't want to set it up for this one quite yet, because I think, well, 1, it would be a lot of work to try and set that up in the middle of a shiny hunt, but also it would break the consistency of the shiny hunt. Not that that actually matters, but to me it matters. I like having consistency. I like having that same, I don't know, vibe throughout the entire shiny hunt. In fact, like, as proud as I am of these new stream graphics, and I'm very, very happy we have these new stream graphics, one thing I thought to myself when I was making these new graphics last night was, well, now my old shiny hunting streams are going to look different than my new ones. Like, if someone's watching all of the Charmander shiny hunt streams, they're going to look different halfway through. And that irked me a little bit. I don't know why. It shouldn't. It really doesn't matter. But it just bothers me. But again, I think after the Charmander shiny hunt, we'll start using a capture card on one of these systems. So one of them can be up on the screen in high quality, high definition footage. And the rest of these consoles will stay on my desk being recorded by the shitty $14 webcam. But at least there'll be one game that's in good high quality definition. Let's keep pushing. No time to waste. Just gotta keep resetting. We're not gonna find a Charmander if we sit around and huff and puff. I try to hype myself up, you know? I'm trying to be my own, like, motivational speaker. I'll be honest with you boys. I know I said yesterday that I was gonna decide last second whether or not I was gonna stream this or Stardew today. Like, I was still undecided as of last night. Hell, I was still undecided as of this morning whether or not we were gonna play Pokemon or Stardew today. But I think part of the reason I ended up deciding on Pokemon is because I realized... What am I doing? Oh my god. I'm pressing the A button when the games are turned off. I'm going insane. Oh my god. Sorry. Let me get back on track. Part of the reason I picked Pokemon instead of Stardew today is because I realized I'm running out of space on my computer to save video footage. Like, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive in this computer, and I'm running out of space on it. It's almost getting full. And the reason for that is because I have live streams dating back all the way to 2017 on this computer. So I just have hours and hours of stream footage sitting on this computer. And I either need to delete it or move it to an external hard drive, so I actually have space in this computer. And I don't keep the stream footage of these shiny hunts. For example, I'm not recording this live stream right now. I'm not saving a video file of this live stream because I don't need to. One, if I ever wanted to download this stream in the future and have a video copy of it, I could just download it off my YouTube VODs. But two, the other reason I don't feel like I need to record these live streams and save videos of them is because what am I going to use that for? There's no need. The only video footage I need is when we find the shiny, and I can just quickly make a Twitch clip of that and download it. Like, it's not necessary that we record these. So I low-key picked this game today instead of Stardew, because if I did stream Stardew today, I would not be able to record it and save the stream to my computer, which I want to do with Stardew. You know, I don't want to record and save these Pokemon streams, but I want to save the Stardew streams. So, yeah, I definitely need to go through and kind of clean out some of the files on my computer and either delete the live streams I have sitting on my computer from 2017 or finally edit them into a video or a TikTok or something. Like, I don't know, bro. I'll fully admit, though, there is exactly zero reason I should have live streams from 2017 still on this computer. I don't know why I still have live streams from that long ago, and I just need to get rid of them. Something is wrong with me, bro. I don't even know what I would do with live streams from 2017 though. Like, they're probably so old, it'd be near impossible to make a video out of them because the footage is gonna look a little worse. I'm gonna look completely different in my face cam, and the things we're talking about on stream are probably gonna be super unrelatable. I'm probably gonna be making jokes that were like funny back in 2017 but are cringy now, or I'll be talking about topics that are maybe relatable at the time, but they're not gonna be relatable nowadays. Though, it could have the benefit of nostalgia. Saying things that would get you canceled. Okay. Not that. That's not what I was trying to say. Alright, I'm actually very proud of the fact that I wasn't that type of streamer. You know? Okay, because, like, if you look back, even with popular streamers nowadays, let's use Pokimane as an example. Over a decade ago, when Pokimane was streaming, she loved to use things like the R word and the N word. Things she would never say nowadays. And good on her for growing. You know, I'm proud of her. I'm glad we learned that slurs are bad. But I'm actually very proud of myself, and I can confidently, honestly say that I never used anything like that in my commentary on Twitch. Like, even 10 years ago, when the live streaming space was a completely different environment, I still never said anything that would be considered cancelable today. Now, did I stream with people who definitely did? Yes. And that would maybe ruin some of those old streams if I watched them again. Like, my high school friend group used the R word like most home-cooked recipes use butter. Okay? Like, if I tried to go back and make a video out of my old live streams, I'd probably have to mute half the video just because of my high school friend group. But I can happily say that wasn't me. That's a wild analogy. I mean, it's applicable, but I guess you're right, it's kind of a wild analogy. Listen, man, I love a good analogy. I feel like that's one of the things that makes my commentary so good. You know, I might stumble over my words, I might stutter a little bit, but I can paint a fucking picture with words, let me tell you. I'm already thinking about how I want to update my graphics even further on stream, specifically. Like, I only did a little bit of editing and Photoshop work yesterday to get the chat box and the event box updated. But, like, we could even go a step further and add a little, like, Windows 95 box for the Charmander and the text on screen right there. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I could make a box that's themed to the Windows 95 notepad and put the Charmander, the resets, the number, all inside of that box. And then the entire stream layout would be themed to Windows 95, which would be kind of sick. Maybe that's something I'll work on tonight. I don't know. We'll see. I also want to continue scripting out this video tonight. I was talking about this yesterday, but been trying to find motivation in my heart to make YouTube videos again. Because I recently put out my first YouTube video in 3 years. And while that was a very special, kind of big moment for me, and the video itself was also pretty special, it was the best Twitch clips and YouTube clips across my 10 years of live streaming. It admittedly was a pretty easy video to make because it's just a compilation video. Compilation videos are easy. At least in my opinion, I think compilation videos are easy. But I want to script out and produce like a pretty high effort video. And I'm about halfway through the script, and I want to finish that script tonight maybe and start recording it probably tomorrow actually. And that'll be my first like real YouTube video in a long time. Not that I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't count the compilation video, but again, I don't know, I feel like compilation videos are too easy for me to really brag about it, you know? But yeah, I want to do some script work tonight, and then I also might work on my graphics a bit more tonight. Maybe add that notepad for the Charmander. And we could even go a step further and update some of my channel graphics. Like, an example are the panels on my Twitch page. They're all just kind of generic, themed to a black and white aesthetic. And we could update those panels to be, instead, themed to like Windows 95, or maybe I'll do Windows 7 for my Twitch panels. I don't know, I'm torn. Because I really like both aesthetics, but the Windows 95 aesthetic, I don't want to overuse it. Plus, I feel like it'll get boring a little bit quicker than if I, say, did Windows 7 for everything. Because Windows 7 had a lot more variety in its aesthetic. Yeah, like, another thing I want to update are my Twitch panels and change them from what they currently are right now, which is just kind of a basic black and white design, to like Windows 7. I think it would be fairly easy to do that, so we'll see. Needless to say, I'm really trying to take advantage of these couple days I have off of work to upgrade my stream and improve things and make the graphics look better, because I've been meaning to do that for a while. I mean, I have a very long to-do list right now. Like, I want to update my Discord server to actually be more than just a basic default Discord server. It kind of looks like every Discord server ever when it first starts, and it has never improved beyond that. And I also want to add more emotes, because like right now I only have 5 emotes, when I technically could have like 20. Like, I've unlocked, I think, 20 emote slots on Twitch, and I've only used 5 of them. Like I said, there's a lot on my to-do list right now, so much so that I'm never going to be able to get it all done in just the couple days I have off work. But I want to get as much as I can done. And it sucks that I feel like shit today, because that's really killed my motivation. And it's made me feel like I lost a lot of time to get things done today, because instead of working on my to-do list and working on the stream, I spent a lot of today just laying in bed trying to like rest. And I'm annoyed about that. We're slowly pushing through here. I still have sand in my eyes from the nap I took today. Ugh, gross. So you can't fully tell on stream because my camera's like cheap. Even my face cam, like, this camera is really cheap, it's $14, but my face cam wasn't much better. It's like $40. But you can't really tell. I have terrible bags under my eyes. Well, you can kind of tell if I lean in. Like, I have just the most noticeable, atrocious bags under my eyes from my terrible sleep schedule. And additionally, I'll constantly have, like, sand in my eyes, even hours after I woke up. I don't know if that's more of a genetic thing, though. Like, I'm just predestined to always have a ton of sand in my eyes. My late great ancestors, the Sandman. I don't know. It's annoying, though. I'll say that. Oh, shoot, I'm pressing the wrong button. I was pressing the B button. I was wondering why nothing was happening. I started off this stream so strong. I was even complimenting myself earlier about how we were like 90 minutes into the stream and I hadn't made any mistakes, and now I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Slowing down the stream, and I'm so sorry, boys. I'm trying to close out strong here. Let's try to move a little bit faster. Be a little bit more efficient and get some of these resets done at a much quicker pace. It's difficult to be fast, though, when I've got the most chill, relaxing music in the background. It's like soothing me. It's giving me the mindset of molasses when I need my body to move at the speed of light. Okay. 888. Okay. 888. My sister's husband texted me today. Sent me a video of him playing an emulator of Fire Red and Leaf Green. And in the video, it starts with him booting up the game, going to the menu of the emulator, and turning on a cheat that gives him shinies only. And then he immediately catches a shiny Pokemon. And I thought it was so funny. I basically responded like, you know, why don't I do that? I should have been doing that in my shiny hunt. You know? This whole time, I've been slowly grinding away, trying to find a shiny Charmander when I could have just turned on cheats. We got one. We would have got one right away. It would have been genius. I mean, that's basically what a lot of shiny hunters on Twitch and YouTube do. Just saying. Not trying to expose anyone, but like a lot of shiny hunters on Twitch and YouTube don't really hide the fact that they're using an emulator to manipulate their odds. Also, a lot of them don't even play the game. They have the emulator run the game for them, and it's almost like watching a pre-recorded video that they're just talking over. Like, there was that guy I saw a couple days ago who I definitely talked about on stream once, but we'll bring it up again. He was very obviously just talking over pre-recorded footage because he would like talk with his hands, and you'd see both of his hands go up in the air on his face cam, but the game is still being played as if he's, pressing the A button or turning the game on and off. And he was one of those shiny hunters that kind of uses the stereotypical layout where it's an emulator, but it's opened in like 6 different windows. So he's shiny hunting 6 times as fast. But like it was so obvious and he kept giving it away that he either had like a, a macro setup to run the game and reset the game for him, or he was just talking over pre-recorded footage. Because he wasn't actually shiny hunting. He wasn't actually playing the game. Bro was sitting here talking with both of his hands while the game's fucking being played right below him. Like, who's pressing the A button for you? It's annoying, bro. People piss me off. Like, we already have an issue of performative males in the world. We don't need performative shiny hunters. Also, I love how performative basically became the word for men that is equivalent to pick me when it comes to women. Like, we have pick me women and we have performative males. And together, they'll make the worst couple you've ever seen. I was a pick me girl in high school. Sorry. It doesn't even make sense. Sometimes I just say shit because I think it's funny. Oh, man. We're at 4,900 though, boys. Not bad. 4,900. It's looking clean. 25 resets away from, Wait, is that right? Yeah. 25 resets away from the big 5-0. 5,000. Now technically 24 resets. We should do like a prediction of what number I'm going to get the shiny. I mean, we've already been doing predictions of which device, which console I think the shiny is going to get caught on. I'm still sticking with my prediction, which is that the shiny is going to be caught on the Mario Kart DS, because it's just clean. I mean, it is the Mario Kart themed DS. Who wouldn't pick that? No, yeah, I'm sticking with the prediction that we're getting the shiny on the Mario Kart DS. But I also did have a dream that we caught the shiny on the blue Game Boy. So now I don't know what to believe. However, we've been doing those predictions since day one. What we should start doing are predictions of when we're going to get the shiny. Like, what number. And see who gets the closest. Before anyone else can guess, before anyone else says this, I'm locking in the number 6969. I'm saying we get it at 6969. And hey, that'd technically be under odds. I'd be happy with that. It'd be far below the 1 in 8,000 odds. You're gonna get it this reset? Okay. Wow, what a prediction. I love that prediction. I love that manifestation. Let's see. I believe. This would be the craziest clip. See, now I'm just so confident. I got a ton of adrenaline. I really believed, I was a true believer. Never a doubter. Now, yeah, back when I used to shiny hunt a ton, like on Sword and Shield, for example, when we beat Pokemon Sword with shinies only, we would constantly do predictions, and then we'd have to update our predictions because some of the shiny hunts in those games were so bad and so unlucky that like we were constantly surpassing people's predictions by a mile. Like, I remember when I was shiny hunting Nickit, that Pokemon, the odds were 1 in 800, and it took me 4,000 something. And everyone kept predicting, like, oh, 800, and then we'd pass 800, and the predictions would get updated to like 1,200, and then we'd pass 1,200. And I don't think anyone actually would have ever predicted it went into the 4,000s. Like, that was insane. So fucking unlucky. Sorry, I know I went quiet there for a little bit, but I'm still thinking about how I could update my stream. And now I'm really thinking about it. And we could even go as far as to like update my face cam box to be a Windows 95 window. It'd be a lot of work, but I think it'd be cool. To have like the box on my face cam match that aesthetic. I'm kind of fully committing to this bit. I don't think I'll do it with the gameplay. So like, I made the chat themed to Windows 95. I made the event list themed to Windows 95. And I kind of want to make my face cam as well as my Charmander reset box themed to Windows 95. But I don't think I'm going to make the box around the gameplay themed to Windows 95 because I kind of like the gameplay being on the corner of the screen. And I'd have to shrink the gameplay down in order to fit it to that when it's not necessary to shrink the gameplay down. Like, I was okay shrinking the chat down because it looks really cool, and I think it makes the chat better. I don't think shrinking the gameplay down to fit it into, like, a Windows 95 notepad would make the gameplay look better. It would probably just unnecessarily make the gameplay smaller and less high def than it already is. Like, we're already running at 480p. If I shrink it down, it's going to look more like 120. But I would be okay with shrinking the face cam a little bit and putting that inside of a Windows 95 kind of themed box. And I definitely, now that I think about it, want to put the Charmander inside of like a Windows 95 notepad. It'd be cool. Just a lot of work, you know? It'll definitely be a lot of work. Thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, because like I said, I'm going to get my car checked out tomorrow. Visiting my family tomorrow. My family lives very far away. So when I visit them, I try to like make almost an event out of it. You know, get as much done as I possibly can. And there's this really good kebab place near where my family lives. Like, I love it. It's so... And therefore, whenever I visit my family, I try to visit that kebab place every once in a while, but I haven't gone in a couple visits. Because, like, the last time I visited my family, I also visited some friends who still live out there, closer to where, like, I grew up, closer to my high school. So I hung out with them and got dinner with them instead. So, if I'm being honest, I actually haven't been to this kebab place in a while. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'll go get some kebabs tomorrow, bro. Like, shit, I could go for a good kebab right now. Back to the grind, boys. I think just because I want to spend some time with my wife tonight, and also I feel bad that she has to, like, sleep in the same room that I have these bright lights shining, and I'm probably not helping her sleep any better by constantly talking. I think I'm going to end the stream at 5,000. I also just don't feel well, so I might not push it. I know I said at the beginning of the stream I was going to try to go above 5,000 and just keep streaming for as long as I could reasonably without making myself feel worse and more sick, but I know I said earlier I was going to try to stream beyond 5,000, but I think we'll end the stream tonight at 5,000. Sorry, guys, I know. Bad streamer. I want to hang out with my wife instead of dedicate my entire life to the grind. I have thought about that in a more realistic sense. Like, I want to do a marathon stream eventually in the future. It'll have to wait until my wife and I buy the house that we're planning to buy in 2027. But, like, once I have a house and I have an entire stream room, an entire room dedicated to just gaming and streaming, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. That would probably be when I can finally start doing marathons. But the one downside of marathon streams is I wouldn't be able to hang out with my wife. That makes me a little sad. I know. Again, shocker. Breaking news. Man loves his wife. But honestly, you'd be surprised how rare that is. Sometimes. Like, we were talking yesterday about how I have a real life bumper car that I spent $500 on. And I'm gonna set that up in my stream room as, like, almost decoration and furniture. Like, actually, furniture is a better word, because I'll be able to sit in the bumper car and, like, play video games from the bumper car. And I was joking about how, like, if we ever did marathon streams, I could sleep in the bumper car. It'd be like the equivalent of a race car bed. You know, it's no different. Just living out my childhood dreams of owning a race car bed. Instead, I didn't even own a fucking bed frame. My bed just sat on the floor. That's kind of an exaggeration. I did have a bed frame for most of my life growing up, but also for a short period of time, my bed was on the floor. You know, I don't want to lie to y'all and pretend that my life was worse than it is, but I'm also not entirely exaggerating. But yeah. Oh shoot. No, don't nickname the Charmander, please. No, it'd be really funny if we did, like, marathon live streams in the future. And the sleeping portion of the stream, the overnight portion, is just me passed out in a fucking bumper car. I do have a lot of paranoia about that, though, because I don't want to, like, do anything embarrassing in my sleep that people would be able to clip and hold over my head. For example, I know I snore very loud. Um, so like the mic might be muted if we ever do marathon streams in the future. The mic will probably be muted when I'm sleeping. However, I'll have some music playing, or maybe like a video in the background to pass the time, and also make the stream somewhat entertaining as it can be while I'm sleeping. Most of my life, my bed's been on the floor. Only since I moved into my own place have I put it into a frame. Interesting. Okay. Don't worry, when you're asleep, I'd also be asleep. Yeah, we could, sleep in the bumper car together. Exactly. Glad we're thinking same wavelength, Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, to be honest. I still haven't made my next stream schedule, and that's kind of on purpose. It's because, like I just said a couple minutes ago, I'm going to be visiting my parents, getting my car checked out, probably grabbing a kebab from the kebab shop. Like, I have a lot that I have to do tomorrow, and I'm torn because I try to live stream every day I have off work. But like tomorrow might be the one exception because I'm doing so much. And also I have to drive a lot tomorrow because, again, my parents live pretty far away. So to drive there, do everything I need to do, and then drive home, it's going to be a lot of the day just gone. We'll see. I still haven't decided if I'm streaming. I think if I do stream, it's going to be a relatively short live stream. Maybe we'll do another shiny hunting live stream because usually I can knock these out in 2 to 3 hours. I'm actually surprised that we're getting closer to 3 hours today. I thought I was moving at a pretty quick pace, but this is actually going to be average or a little under average. Some of my shiny hunting streams, I knocked out 500 resets in like 2.5 hours. Today we're at 2 hours 45 minutes and we're still not at 500. I thought I was moving quick, I'll be honest. I thought I was being efficient. Instead, I'm just kinda average. I mean, story of my life, though, let's be real. Yeah. I'm shocked, though. Especially because the first 90 minutes of the stream, I felt so quick. I thought I was moving at, like, the speed of light, and I haven't really done anything to slow me down since then. Maybe I was just hyping myself up unnecessarily. Unjustifiably. How many resets do we have left? 10? Yeah. 10 resets left. It'd be really cool. And I know I say this every stream, but it'd be really, really cool game if you could give us a shiny at the end of the stream. It'd be the perfect cherry on top. Perfect way to close it out for the night. You know? I'm not begging the game to give me a shiny, but it would make my day. It would cure my sickness that I'm currently experiencing. Like I said, it'd be the most beautiful, perfect way to end a live stream. I believe. I'm committing to this bit, and I'm committing to it because I want to manifest the shiny. You have to believe, boys. I don't even know how I'd react to getting the shiny if I did. Maybe I'll have like a complete pop-off moment. Just freak out, start yelling, throwing my arms in the air. Reminds me of the time, I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen this clip, but the clip of Hungry Box winning a tournament, and he gets so excited and like yells so loud, and I think the adrenaline just peaked that he passed out from the excitement. That is a classic live streaming clip. Hungry Box literally passing out because he popped off so hard in Smash Bros. It's... I shouldn't say it's funny, but it is kind of funny. I don't think I'd be able to pull a Hungry Box, but maybe. I have been known to pass out before. Yikes. Big yikes. All right. Yeah, apologies I keep going quiet. I'm just like lost in thought when it comes to how I want to edit some of my stream graphics. Like I'm thinking about the face cam graphic I'm gonna update. I like planning things out in my brain, so I'm genuinely just thinking about like how I'm going to make a Windows 95 face cam box in Photoshop right now. Excuse me, oh my god, the hiccups. I don't know how much I'll be able to get done tonight when it comes to updating my graphics. Like, if I do go live tomorrow, it might not be done yet. I think I can get most of it done tonight. But, like, I also want to update my Twitch panels and some of my, like, Twitch art and stuff like that. So I will see. I'm not going to push myself to try to, like, stay up late just to get everything done tonight. Alright. 5 resets left, boys. We're in the final 5 resets of the night. This is literally the definition of, like, perfect way to end a stream. Last 5 resets. The shiny is happening now. It's been waiting for this moment. It was waiting till the end of the stream, and I've been ready. Alright? I'm excited. This is the moment. This is the culmination of... What was the math we did yesterday? We were at like 21 and a half hours of grinding. We've done 3 more hours today. We've been grinding for 24 hours. We put an entire day of our lives into the shiny hunt, and the shiny is going to reward us right now. That's okay, we got 4 more resets. This is the moment we've been working for. This is what we've been training for, Gary. I believe. You know, as long as I believe, I think there's a chance. Sometimes I think maybe I'm just gaslighting myself. No, I can't think like that. It's happening right now. I fully believe. I won't allow my faith to waver in any way. I actually am, like, very confident. So much so that, like, I'm excited when the Charmanders pop up on screen. My eyes light up with a little twinkle because I'm so confident we're going to get it right now. Every time I see these 4 Charmander pop up, I get excited. Three resets left, boys. Now we're in the final 3. Even more pressure, even more intensity, and it'll be even more special when we get the shiny. Okay. 2 left. This reset for sure. I believe. I'm not lying, by the way. Like, I get so excited when I open the Charmander in my party because I'm so confident it's gonna be a shiny that, like, my heart's beating. That's right. Last reset. The shiny was just waiting for the 5,000 mark. He was waiting for the very last reset of the stream. And you know, we didn't want a shiny in the 4,000s either. 4,000? Ugh, gross. That's a disgusting number. 5,000 though? Perfect. Alright, final reset. Unlucky. What a shame. That's okay. At least we hit the big 5,000. Very proud of us. Update the number on screen as well. 5-0. That's right. All good. Like I said, we didn't want the shiny in the 4,000s. That's a gross number. We'll probably get it soon here in the 5,000s. I'm still confident. Listen. Anyways, I'm gonna head out here soon. I think I'm gonna spend a lot of tonight just to hang out with my wife and work on some more stream graphics. I don't think I'll have all the stream graphics done and updated by tomorrow, but it'll be slowly updating. It'll be a slow process. So today we had updated the chat and the events list, which I think look dope. Hopefully by next stream I'll have a new face cam graphic and stuff like that. And you know, maybe if I update my graphics to all be Windows 95 themed, the art scammers, the art promoters in the chat will leave me the fuck alone. They'll join the chat and be like, oh god, this guy's still on Windows 95. He probably doesn't even have a PayPal account I can scam. He's still using brick and mortar, pennies and dollars. No, the art scammers will still show up in the chat. They are they're unavoidable. They're eternal. And I hate them. But at least we'll have some updated graphics and it'll look a little bit better. Anyways, probably gonna head out here, boys. Appreciate everyone that showed up in the stream today. Appreciate you, brother Brandon. Thanks for keeping me company while we grinded out another 500 resets. Wish the best for you. And I might see y'all tomorrow. If I don't, the next stream will be Sunday. I'll probably decide based off how long it takes to run my errands tomorrow, get some kebabs, and visit my family. And then, based off how late it is tomorrow night I get home, we'll decide whether or not we stream. But yeah, good night. Thanks for hanging out. See y'all later. Peace out, boys.